Om Vakrtunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samapprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Deva Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanta Shanta Shanti. We have completed the 3 chapters of the Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. First chapter titled Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Second chapter Sankhya Yoga. Third chapter Karma Yoga. Yoga meaning the context. First chapter dealt with the Vishada, the despondency of Arjuna, sorrow of Arjuna. Second chapter with the Jnanam. Third chapter dealt with Karma. So the synopsis of the first 3 chapters we will see. Some shlokas are given and as a connection. So few shlokas from each chapter, and it is the sequence of events. So the teaching events also. In the first chapter there are certain events, they are connected, and the second chapter and third chapter, that's the teaching sequence. The karma is presented with few shlokas, with the mentioning of few shlokas, not all the shlokas, only few shlokas. Otherwise, we have to read again all the 3 chapters, all the shlokas. So it's a good synopsis. In fact, the summary of each chapter, at the end of each chapter summary, should be done. If it is done, it is easy to remember the important points, important discussions of the chapter. If not, at least 3 chapters. If not, at least at the end of 6 chapters. The 18 chapters of the Gita are divided into 666. The first 6 chapter, it's called Prathama Shatkam. The second chapter, Madhyama Shatkam. Last chapter, Charama Shatkam. Shatkam meaning group of 6. So first group of 6, second group of 6, and the last group of 6 chapters. The first group of 6 chapters deal with the Tvampada, Tvampada Vichara. In the Mahavakyam Tat Tvam Asi, Tvampada Vicharaha. Tvampada Vichara is the content of the first 6 chapters. The second 6 chapter, Madhyama Shatkam, deals with the inquiry of Tatpadam. The last 6 chapter is Aikya. In that way also it can be looked upon. Madhusudana Saraswati in his commentary says like that. Okay, anyway, now let us see the synopsis of the first 3 chapters. The first chapter of the Gita, which is Introduction to Gita, the teacher, the Krishna, and the disciple Arjuna were introduced. And the context that led to Arjuna asking Krishna for Atmagyanam, self-knowledge, was given. Previously, Arjuna had only been interested in regaining the kingdom and settling old accounts with Duryodhana. Old accounts, it's old, the avarice, that droha, that betrayal, what Duryodhana had done before, that Arjuna wanted to settle accounts with him. Arjuna had no desire for this knowledge before, and even though he had known Krishna for a long time, he did not regard him as a teacher. This is before they met, before the Kurukshetra battle, before the Kurukshetra. Both have been friends for a long time, but Arjuna never asked for this knowledge. Only in the Kurukshetra, Arjuna became the disciple of Krishna and asked for this knowledge. So therefore, the context is important. So context is presented in the first chapter of the Gita. Arjuna had lived a life of dharma, the dharmika purusha, and the life of dharma necessarily leads one to ask fundamental questions about life. Only a dharmika person will ask such questions, fundamental questions about life. Adharmika, they are interested only in kama and for lobha, etc. So they will not worry about the questions. They will not worry about they will not have such doubts at all, such questions at all. So they take life for granted and live like an animal life. Manishya rupena mrigaha charanti. Only a dharmika person, a matured person, will have fundamental questions, and therefore you only will have the desire to clarify with the informed person. So Arjuna dharmika purushaha, it had given him the necessary viveka to ask Krishna, "O Bhagavan, please teach me what is the ultimate good. I am your disciple." This he says in the second chapter. Shishyastekam shadimam tvam prapannam iti. Yet shreyaha nishchito brugitannme shishyastekam shadimam tvam prapannam. The first chapter is not discussed. First chapter provides a context only. The first chapter describes the battlefield and the Arjuna's despair and his arguments concerning why he no longer wanted to fight. Early in the second chapter, so that much only the first chapter. Now, early in the second chapter, Krishna tried to arouse Arjuna's enthusiasm so that he would do what had to be done. That is Yuddham to be done. Therefore, he was trying to enthuse Arjuna. He addressed him as follows: Kutastva kashmalamidam. Okay, let us stand this. Kutastva kashmalamidam.
Kutastva kashmalamidam.
Vishame samupastitam.
Vishame samupastitam.
Anaryajushtamasvargyam.
Anaryajushtamasvargyam.
Akirtikaram Arjuna.
Akirtikaran Marjuna.
Vishame, in such crisis, Kutastva, from where? Kashmalam, this despair, Samupastitam, has come upon you, O Arjuna, and it is Anaryam, it is Anaryajushtam, Asvargyam, Akirtikaram. It is not at all becoming of an upright man. Arya means upright person. Arya, noble person. Anarya, opposite. Na Arya, Anarya. Anaryajushtam. And doesn't add to your good name, Akirtikaram, and also Asvargyam. It will not take you to Swargaloka, nor is it one which leads one to heaven. The next sloka, Klaibyam Smagamav Partha.
Klevyam masma kamaphartha.
Naitatvaiyupapadyate.
Naitatva yupapatyate.
Kshudram Hridaya Daurbalyam.
Kshutram hridaya daurvatyam.
Tyaktotishtapadantapa.
Tyaktvotishtha param dhabha.
He Partha, he Parantapa. This is Sambodhana. Klaibyam masma gamaf Partha. Na etata toi upapadyate. Don't submit yourself to this unmanliness, Klaibyam, klibasya bhavaha. This doesn't befit you. So therefore, Shudram Hridaya Daurbalyam Tyakta, giving up this lowly, the weakness of heart, Uttishta, get up, Lotlakara, Uttishta, Madhyama Purusha Ekavacham, Uttishta, get up and fight. Arjuna continued to explain why he could not fight, saying that he would prefer to live the life of a bhikshu. Bhiksha, taking bhiksha, living on alms. This meant he was thinking of a life of sannyasa, renunciation, that he wanted to renounce everything and seek moksha. Is this moksha born of vairagya? This moksha is situational moksha. Born of this particular situation. Is in Kurukshetra, seeing his own kith and kin, suddenly vairagya arose in him. He knew that a particular knowledge was necessary for moksha. Arjuna knew that much, and that a guru was necessary for gaining this knowledge. Thinking that there was no better than guru than Krishna, Arjuna asked him for the knowledge, declaring himself to be his disciple, Krishna's disciple. In response to Arjuna's request, Krishna did not simply say, "Stop talking and fight." Had he done so, and Arjuna followed Krishna's advice, of Mahabharata would have no Gita. Instead, it looks as though Krishna was waiting for just such an occasion as this to teach Arjuna. The teacher also was waiting. It's not that the student asked. The student asked. Teacher also was waiting. In spite of the student asking the teacher, the student said no. Then if the teacher says no, the student cannot do anything. But the teacher also seems to be waiting for the disciple to ask for this knowledge. Otherwise, he would not have started with Ashocha Nanvashochastam Pragyavadam Bhashase. That is where the teaching starts. You grieve for those who should not be grieved for, even though you speak words of wisdom. Like a Pandita, you are talking. Nor would you have followed this statement up with Nasato Vidyate Bhavaha, Nabhava Vidyate Sataha. That is the teaching. The unreal never is, and the real is never absent. Teaching in the battlefield. In fact, Krishna covered the entire teaching in the second chapter, talking about knowledge and about karma yoga. The second chapter is the teaching. The teaching of the entire Gita. The entire Gita is present in the second chapter. Second chapter is a condensed form of the entire teaching of the Gita. The rest of the chapters are nothing but commentary on the second chapter. So therefore, second chapter talks about knowledge and as well as karma yoga, how one has to live one's life in a manner which helps one gain certain freedom from the hold of raga dvesha, likes and dislikes. Then towards the end of the chapter, second chapter, having taught Jnana Yoga, Sankhya, as well as Karma also introduces. Then at the end of the chapter, Arjuna asked Krishna to describe a person who is established in this knowledge. He wanted to know how this person would be, a Jnani should be. That is Sita Prajna. And he asked Bhagavan, let us stand. Arjuna Vuvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha
Sita Prajnasya ka bhasha.
Sita Prajnasya ka bhasha
Samadhistasya Keshava.
Samadhistasya Keshava
Stitadhihim prabhasheta.
Stitha Thithim Prabhasheta
Kimasita vrajeta kim.
Himasitha Vrajeta Kim.
So what is the definition? Description of Sita Pragyaha. Sita Pragyaha, Samadhistaha, Sitadihi all mean the same, referring to the man of wisdom. Sita Pragyasya ka bhasha, what is the definition? What is the description of the person having knowledge, a firm wisdom, one whose mind abides in this Atma, Samadhistasya Keshava. How does such a person whose mind is not shaken by anything, Stitadhihi, Yasya, Saha, how does he speak, sit and walk? Kim Asita, Kim is Katam Asita. Katam Vrajeta, Katam Prabhasheta. How does he talk? How does he walk? How does he sit? It means he's not asking his physical movements. How does he conduct himself in the Vyavahara? That is the meaning. It's not just simple action, sitting, walking, waking. How does he conduct himself in the world? How does he interact with the people? How does he conduct himself in the Vyavahara? In the Vyavahara, you have to deal with people. You have to play roles, different roles. Even a Grihastha Jnani, Sannyasi Jnani, no role. Sannyasi. But as a Grihastha Jnani, even if you are a Grihastha, you can be a Jnani. Then he has got certain roles to play because he's not a sannyasi. So how does he speak, sit, and Arjuna and Krishna itself is a jnani, not a sannyasi. So there are many such people later. This third chapter said Janaka, etc. Janaka the king. So how does a Siddha Prajnaha, jnani, the man of wisdom, speak, walk, and talk? That is, how does he conduct himself in the world? So that knowing that Arjuna also can work for to be that person. What made him gain that wisdom, because of which his conduct in the world is because of which the conduct of the jnani in the world, that is his conduct, he conducts not touched by, not disturbed by anything. So that he wanted to know, so that he can adopt the means, the sadhana, to become that sadhya. So that is the idea. As Swamiji says, fake it and make it. If you know how a jnani conducts himself, similarly, Arjuna thought he also can conduct himself like that by faking it and then making it. Faking it not to cheat it. It's not being a hypocrite. Faking it to make it. That's only this is only for a mumukshu. Faking it in order to making it. If you stop with faking it, then the person is a hypocrite. Faking it to make it, to making it. Fake it to make it. So in asking Krishna to describe a Siddha Prajna, a wise person, Arjuna indicated that the description should cover how the person walks, talks, and sits. Now, Krishna Bhagavan saw the spirit of Arjuna's question. He didn't take it literally. He saw what Arjuna really wanted to know, and therefore defined Siddha Prajna in these words, starting from 55th shloka onwards up to 72nd shloka of this chapter. So let us chant Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Prajahati yada kavan
Prajahati yada kaman
Sarvan Parthamanogathan
Sarvan Parthamanogathan
Atmanyevatmana Tushtaha
Atmanyevatmana tushtaha
Chitta Prajnastadochyate.
Sthita prajnastadhojate.
Therefore, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, Bhagavan said, Yada Kaman, Sarvan Kaman Prajahati, Manogatan Sarvan Kaman. When a person gives up all the desires which manifest in the mind, and he is happy with himself. Atmani eva atmana tushtaha. He is happy in himself, happy in himself with himself. Atmana by himself, Atmani in himself, tushtaha. That person is called Sthita Prajnaha. O Partha, when a person gives up all the desires as they appear in the mind and is happy in oneself, with oneself alone, that person is said to be a man of ascertained knowledge. Sthita Prajna yasya saha. Next shloka. Dukkeshvanudvignamanaha
Dukeshvanodvignamanaha
Sukheshu vigatasprugaha
Sukheshu vigatas spruhaha
Vitaragavayakrodhaha
Vidharaga bhaya krodhaha
Itadhir
Sthitadhir muniruchyate.
That person, dukkeshu anudvignamanaha, not disturbed by dukkha, problems, Vigataspurga, Sukeshu Vigataspurga is Dasitaspurga, the desire, longing for Sukham also. And he is free from Raga Bhaya Krodha, Vitaraga Bhaya Krodha. That person said to be the man of steady knowledge. The one who is not affected by adversities, that is Dukkha, who is without yearning for pleasure, Sukeshu Vigataspurga, and is Vitaha from longing, Raga, fear, Bhaya, anger, Krodha. That person said to be a wise person whose knowledge remains. The next shloka. Yada, yes sarvatra navisnegaha.
Yes, sarvatra nabhisnehaha.
Tat prapya shubha shubham.
Tat prapya shubha shubham.
Na vinandati nadveshti.
Na vinandati na tveshti.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
These shlokas are important. That is why all shlokas are given to be memorized. In response to Arjuna's question, Kim Katam Asita Vrajeta, and Avasita Prajna conducts himself. How we see? What are the definitions of? What are the characteristics? So they are given. Yaha Sarvatra, the one in all situations, Anabhisnegaha, remaining unattached. Tat Tat Prapya Shubha Shubham. With regard to Shubha Ashubha, pleasurable situation or unpleasant situation, whatever it is. Having gained, it remains undisturbed. Not abhinandati, not dveshti. Shubham prapya na abhinandati. Ashubham prapya na dveshti. So, therefore, for the one who is unattached in all situations, who neither rejoices on gaining the pleasant, nor hates the unpleasant. Unpleasant comes, that he accepts. He doesn't hate, not dvesha. No, he doesn't have dvesha for that. His knowledge is said to be well established. The next shloka. Yada samharate chayam.
Yada samharati chayam.
Urmonganiva sarvashaha.
Umonganiva sarvashaha.
Indriyanindriyartebhyaha.
Indriyanindriyartebhyaha.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Tasya prajna pratishtita.
Here a drishtanta is given. Kurmaha, turtle. Turtle withdraws its limbs when he sees a danger. He withdraws all its limbs. Similarly, Tasya prajna, he has the capacity to withdraw the sense organs from the sense objects. The sense organs, Shotra, Tvak, Chakshu, Rasana, Grana, iti, Pancha Jnanendriyani, which has contact with five sense objects, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. The contact of the sense organs with the sense objects. The contact of the senses with the sense objects only creates the raga and dvesha. Not mere contact. Mere contact is the person has a taste for it, and sense organs has contact with sense objects. The likes and dislikes are there naturally for certain vishaya, certain things. So when the contacts come, the previous samskara is there because of which the taste, which is there, is invoked. So that's how the person gets attached. Now, knowing that, he withdraws the sense organs from sense objects. Knowing that it will create disturbance, it will create samsara, it will create problem. Therefore, like a tortoise is very alert, he withdraws the sense organs from sense objects. The one who can do, that person is a person, man of steady knowledge. In fact, a jnani need not do. Jnani is, here Upadesha is given. Here, the Upadesha is given. Yada samharate, tasya prajna pratishtita. A jnani, in spite of his sense organs and contact sense objects, his jnanam is not disturbed. His jnanam is not disturbed. But for jnana nishta to happen, then he has to withdraw the sense organs. Once jnana nishta happens, in spite of the sense organs and contact sense objects, is not robbed away of his knowledge. So till the knowledge becomes steady, till the knowledge becomes unshakable, the person has to withdraw the sense organs from the sense objects. So therefore here, even for a man of knowledge, it says, it's an upadesha given. And when, like the turtle that withdraws his limbs, this person is able to withdraw. He has got the capacity. He has got mastery over the sense organs. He has got mastery over his mind. So Shama and Dhamma, that is there in the Jnani. So that is what is said. That is in fact, that is a Upadesha for the person who wants to become a Jnani. He must be endowed with Shama and Dhamma. Must be endowed with Shama and Dhamma. So his knowledge is steady. Whose knowledge is steady, who is able to sense the sense object to the sense organ, which can be the source, for sorrow, he immediately withdraws. So that much capacity should be that a jnani has. A jnani has. So a jnani who has this knowledge, he has this capacity. Whereas a jnani who abides in this knowledge, jnana nishta, for him, it is not said here, but I'm saying it is for him, in spite of the contact with sense objects, in spite of the contact of the sense organ sense objects, he is not robbed away. That is the level of this nishta in the jnana. But here he is talking about the man, for the person who has this knowledge. The nishta is yet to happen. That is what we have to take. So his knowledge is steady. Means he has got the knowledge which is steady, not unwavering, sensing as the tortoise sensing the danger, withdraws. Similarly, he withdraws from the sense objects. The mastery over his mind and senses, that is the highlight here. So that a man of steady knowledge has. So as a man of steady knowledge has, similarly a sadhaka also must enjoy this capacity. That is the Upadesha here. So we see here that Krishna, appreciating the spirit of Arjuna's question, converted into how does a wise man interact the world. Siddha Prajna, Krishna said, is one whose knowledge is steady, meaning whose knowledge leaves nothing to be desired. Such a person is happy with himself or herself, but doesn't require anything other than himself or herself in order to be happy. That person is also not afraid of anything. When unpleasant situations occur, he or she faces them without being adversely affected in any way. Nor is such a person elated when unpleasant situations occur. The spontaneous expression of the wisdom of a wise person becomes sadhana, values or disciplines for the seeker. So what is sadhya for the jnana becomes a sadhana for the sadhaka, which is why Arjuna was interested in the qualities of a wise person. That's why he wanted to know. And Krishna described all these qualities to Arjuna. He also told of Arjuna certain obstacles to gaining this wisdom, such as how by dwelling upon certain objects, Vishaya Dhyanam, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha, that is what he says here. We give them subjective attributes in addition to those attributes that the objects already have. For example, as long as you look upon money as simply buying power, there is no problem. But however, when you look upon it as a source of security, you are creating a problem for yourself because your conclusion is not totally true. Money itself cannot make you secure. Anything that you hold on to that is other than yourself only confirms your insecurity. As long as one wants crutches, one doesn't stand on one's legs. A truly secure person requires nothing outside of oneself in order to make him or her feel secure. So money as such is not a problem, but we need to look upon a source of security, it's a problem. So therefore, holding on to only oneself, because one is a source of insecurity. Anything other than oneself cannot give you security. So therefore, a secure person, a truly secure person, requires nothing outside of oneself. So the sense of feeling security in the presence of other thing, it is only a delusion. Nothing can really make a person secure. Therefore, a truly secure person is one who has this knowledge that already I am secure. That person only can be really secure. Giving objects the attributes that they don't have, it's called adhyasa. The object doesn't have the attributes, but you color it. Seeing certain qualities in them that are not there, and then dwelling upon them creates sangha, attachment towards them. Within the flow of what he was teaching, Krishna pointed out all this and what comes out of this sangha. Important shloka here. He says how the sangha starts and what it leads to. The psychology of the sangha, the attachment leading to the self-destruction, spiritual destruction of oneself. It is presented in this shloka, important shloka. Let us read. Dhyayato vishayan pumsaha
ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः
sangasteshu pajayate
सङ्गस्थेषु भजायते
sangat sanjayate kamaha
सङ्गात् सञ्जायते कामः
kamat krodho vijayate
कामात् क्रोधो विजायते
krodhat bhavati sammohaha
क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः
sammohat smriti vibhramaha
सम्मोहात् स्फूर्तिविभ्रमः
smriti bhramshat buddhinashaha
स्मृति पुंसात् बुद्धिनाशः
buddhinashat pranashyati.
बुद्धिनाशात् प्रनाशति.
Okay, before this shloka I was telling, Yada samharate chayam. We have seen already. There Swamiji says at one place, a person may have jnanam, but for that knowledge to be steady, he or she must be able to withdraw the sense organs from the sense pursuits at will. So, the person may have knowledge, but for the knowledge to be steady, that is for jnana nishta, the sense organs have to be withdrawn. Because the question can come, is a jnani, will he also be attracted by the sense objects? So, the person who has gained nishta in that jnana. Nishta in that jnana means his jnana is unshakable. His jnana is unshakable. He dwells in himself. He sees everything as Atma. For them, the sense objects cannot be the source of attraction. Sense objects cannot attract him, even when the sense organs interact. But for the person who is in the process of making this knowledge steady, that person has to withdraw the sense organs from the sense pulse. Therefore, this is an upadesha. This is an instruction given to the person who wants to be the man of steady wisdom, who wants to have the nishta. For them, as Upadesha, it is given. So the idea is, as he says, somebody says later here, for the one who has prepared himself or herself for the knowledge, by developing the capacity to make the mind and senses behave in this way, the knowledge is not far. Therefore, tasya prajna pratishtita iti. That is the idea. If the person is not prepared, then what happens? The mind and the senses behave as it were before by coming into contact with the sense objects. So for the prepared person, it is not a problem. For one who is in this state of preparation, for him, this Upadesha is given. If he follows this, the knowledge is not far away. Therefore, tasya prajna pratishtita iti. A point to be noted. Now coming back here. Vishaya Dhyanam leads to Sangha, Sangha leads to Kama, Kama leads to Krodha, Krodha is nothing but a form of Kama. And from Kama comes Sammoha, delusion, from delusion, the loss of memory, and therefore loss of Viveka, Buddhinashaha. Buddhinashat Pranashyati. So in the person who dwells upon the objects, Vishayan, Vishaya Dhyan, an attachment is born. This is initial attachment. An attachment is born with reference to them. It develops a liking, initial liking. That's how it starts. Then it becomes desire. If it continues to dwell, that becomes that Sangha converts into desire. When desire is obstructed, it becomes Krodha. From Krodha comes delusion. Is deluded now. Is deluded, completely deluded. He cannot live without the object of desire. So therefore, from anger comes delusion, and therefore he loses his memory. Whatever he had learned, the knowledge he had gained, everything is lost, as well lost. Everything lost for when he is in the fit of anger. And therefore, because of the loss of memory, buddhi becomes incapacitated. Buddhi is supposed to do the function of discriminate, that is filtering and analyzing and then executing. Filters, that's the job of analyzing. If it is proper, then the buddhi sanctions and it is done. If it is improper, the buddhi should have the capacity to dismiss it. Now, the buddhi itself becomes incapacitated, becomes helpless. It loses its determinative faculty, even though knowing very well that it is not proper, but it cannot say no. That is the incapacitation of the buddhi, because of which the person is destroyed. The buddhi is incapacitated. Therefore, no viveka with regard to dharma, adharma, and atma, anatma. With regard to doing dharma, dharma. With regard to knowing the truth, atma, anatma. That person is destroyed. Destroyed means spiritually destroyed, not physically destroyed. Why is destroyed? Because what he had studied doesn't come for help at that moment. So therefore, he is said to be destroyed. He is drifted away from the path, the moksha marga. That is the destruction, not physical destruction. Then Krishna said, Arjuna, if you really want to know what a wise person is, you have to be wise yourself. Only a wise person can know the other wise person. There is no way of understanding such a person. Such a person. Behavior and so on are not the indication of a person's wisdom. Then this shloka, at the end of this chapter, second chapter, let us read. Ya nisha sarva bhutanam.
Ya nisha sarva bhutanam.
Tasyam jagarti sanyami.
Tasyam jagarti sanyami.
Yasyam jagrati bhutani.
Yasyam Jagrati Bhutani
Sa Nisha Pashyato Mune.
Sa Nisha Bhashyadho Mune.
These shlokas are cryptic shlokas. This one as well as Nasato Vidyate Baba 16th shloka. That's a teaching. That's why it is not given. Otherwise, you have, it's again one more time, it is a teaching. Already done elaborate. The shlokas are cryptic shlokas. Vyasacharya now and then gives such shlokas so that he gets time and we get prepared for other shlokas. Because the Ganesha was writing, Ganapati was writing whatever the Vyasacharya dictates. That is agreement between them. So in between Vyasacharya utters such cryptic shloka for which the Ganesha has to find out the meaning, know, and then only write. That is agreement. So therefore, by the time Ganesha understands the shloka and writes it, Vyasacharya is ready with thousands of shlokas. So that's why in between you will see such cryptic shlokas. So this shloka says that in that which is night for all beings, the one who is wise, who has mastery over oneself is awake. That in which beings are awake is night for the wise, one who sees. If you take the literal meaning, it is not that. The literal meaning cannot be taken. What it means, that's why it's a cryptic shloka, to be understood with the help of commentary. The difference between those who are wise and those who are not wise is like day and night, night and day. What the wise people are awake to, they're awake to jnanam. The ignorant people are not awake to. Moreover, what the ignorant are awake to, they are awake to ajnana. The wise are not awake to, meaning that ignorant think of as reality. The wise don't see it as real. What wise people think of reality, that ignorant people don't see, they are not awake to. That is what ya nisha, nisha and sarvabhutanam tasyam jagrati sanyami. Sanyami means this person, the one who is the jnani wise, is awake. He awake to that knowledge, the regard to which others are not awake. Therefore, that is night for them. That is the idea. In fact, there is no difference. There is no other difference save that between knowledge and ignorance. Night and day here are taken as ignorance knowledge. In fact, there is no difference save that between knowledge and ignorance. A wise person understands that everything is I, the Atma, whereas other people think everything is getting me. That's one type of person thinks that the world is out to get him or her. The other type says that the world is himself or herself. Therefore, having discussed the prajna as best as he could, Krishna had to say to Arjuna, how are you going to understand the wise, Arjuna, unless you are wise? Any kind of description is meaningless. To really know what a wise person is, you have to gain wisdom. To explain this, Further Krishna used a more positive example. This is the last but one. Last but two. We'll read this thing and then it will move to the third chapter. Oh, it goes on. I think we'll stop here. This shloka we will read in the next class. 70th shloka. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. The important shlokas of the second chapter are given, and the two the Siddhapragya shlokas. It contains the knowledge. Okay.